50 years ago, Reverend Bruce Johnson was pastor of Armitage Avenue United Methodist Church in the Lincoln Park neighborhood in Chicago. It was renamed the People's Church by the Young Lords, a Puerto Rican street gang turned political organization that ran programs out of the church. But on September 29, 1969, Pastor Bruce and his wife Eugenia were found brutally murdered in the parsonage, a crime that remains unsolved. The Young Lords are marking the anniversary of the slayings with a memorial worship and procession at Holy Covenant United Methodist Church. Let's welcome Pat Devine Reed. In the late 60s, Pat was an organizer with Concerned Citizens of Lincoln Park. She is now a member of First United Methodist Church at the Chicago Temple and Canaan Community Church in West Englewood. We also welcome Jose Chacha Jimenez, founder and leader of the Young Lords. Take us back to the 1960s and what was going on in the Lincoln Park neighborhood in Chicago.
Well, in the 1960s, many first-generation Puerto Ricans that were born in Puerto Rico and then came here young were settling in downtown area of Chicago, near the hotels and near the factories that were located there at that time. The area was destined to be urban renewed at that time. That's when Mayor Daley first took office, not around the 1955, around that time. And so we were displaced to first to Old Town and then to the Lincoln Park neighborhood. And we were creating community there. Basically, a lot of our adults were involved with the Knights of St. John, the Hija de Maria, Mothers of Mary, and the youth were latchkey children. Mm-hmm. So they were left to roam on themselves. There were no programs from the city, and many joined street organizations. Today we call it gang banging or whatever. Mm-hmm. But at that time they're not comparable to the street groups of today that are involved with drugs. These were territorial gangs that were basically concerned about their community and their people. And so we were opening up, for example, North Avenue Beach was not allowed, Latinos could not go there until the youth groups went there. Mm-hmm. And fought physically to get there.
But it was in prison that you turned the street gang into a political organization.
I wanted to clean up from drugs. I went to confession and started reading Seven Story Mountain by Thomas Merton. And that's when I wanted to go. That's when I really had a little awakening there. And then I said, well, let's just organize the Young Lords.
How did you get connected with Reverend Johnson?
We were trying to get the institutions to give us space, to rent, to give us apartments for the low-income families. And they rejected us. They said that there was no profit in that. We saw McCormick Seminary, and we decided we were going to take it over no matter what happened, whether we went to jail or whether we died. But we had to, somebody had to make a stand. And so we went in there, and the bicycle chains, we chained the doors with that. We started calling people on the phone. By morning, we had about 200, 300 people in the seminary. We stayed there for a week and won all the demands. Out of that came the People's Church or the Armitage Avenue United Methodist Church, and we had been meeting with them about space. The congregation was not with us at that time. The pastor was with us. I happened to be outside one day, and I didn't even know that they were going to take over the church, the members. All I saw them was waving from the church. Hey, Chacha, we have it. And I'm going like, you have what? I knew what that meant. And the police was automatically there, and the congregation was demanding that they arrest us, and Pastor Johnson said I gave them permission to be there. And the very next day we set up a free breakfast for children program. We set up a daycare center, a free health clinic.
And Pat, you were talking earlier with me about all the good that Reverend Johnson and his wife were doing in the community. Can you reflect on that with us?
Yes, there was that period, of course, in the United States, everything was up for grabs, and so the churches in the Lincoln Park area came together, 26 churches, and formed what was called the Northside Cooperative Ministry to take a leadership role in fighting for adequate food, welfare rights, for stable, good, quality housing for Puerto Rican community, but also all the poor and working class community in the area, for education. So there were many committees, but and the Johnsons were very much involved in that work, as well as Parish of the Holy Covenant, where we're having the memorial service, and many other pastors and members of congregations in the area. When we would hold a meeting around housing issues and demanding quality housing for poor and working class folks in the community, thousands of people would come to the meeting. We had to have the meeting in Waller High School auditorium, which would seat 1,000 people.
And Pastor Johnson and his wife were very involved and instrumental in this?
Their life was dedicated to changing the situation and demanding justice and equality for everyone.
Right. I think at the time of the murders, the bishop of the United Methodist Church in the Northern Illinois Conference was shocked and said that Pastor Johnson committed his life to the inner city and helping the poor.
September 29 at 10:30 a.m. at Holy Covenant Church, we're going to hold a service for Pastor Bruce Johnson and Eugenia Johnson, also acknowledging some of our own members that were killed in other situations. But he's the primary reason that we're going to be there. And then after that, we're going to have a march from the Parish of the Holy Covenant to People's Church, which is today at Walgreens.
And the case still remains unsolved. Do you think it will ever be opened up again?
It's a cold case. Well, you know, we're respecting the family doesn't want to do an investigation, and so we're respecting we will respect that. And so we just want to honor our pastor. That's all we want to do.
There's a you know, even a broader issue, and that is that people who take the leadership in requiring justice on many life issues and work against discrimination, for equality, that they're often attacked by the powers that be, and that if we don't name that sin and honor those people, then it comes back at us. The people of Rwanda, who had millions of people die in the wars in the 1990s, they finally had to have truth and reconciliation. They said, if we don't name the sin, we will never have healing. And this country will never have healing unless we lift up those who are our leaders and those who have been our martyrs, modern day martyrs. We talked about martyrs in the past, but our modern day martyrs. And so this is one of the reasons that it's important that we hold this 50th year memorial. And if there can be justice done, wonderful. If not, at least large numbers of people know what happened in the past.
Yes. Thank you so much, Pat and Chacha, for helping us remember the Johnsons.
Thank you, Emery.
I'm Anne Marie Gerhardt for Different Drummers and the Greater Chicago Broadcast Ministries. Keep the faith.